Hello, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Smart Trips Live. Smart Trips Austin is designed to help Austinites find transportation solutions that work for their everyday trips, whether that's riding the bus, carpooling, biking, walking, or trying one of the ever expanding mobility options here in the city. We're here to help you get around and avoid traffic in the process. And Smart Trips Austin is a collaboration between Cap Metro and the City of Austin's Transportation Department. I'm your host, Lonnie Stern, and today we have a very special guest, Joya Hayes, who is a board member of the Austin Area Heritage Council and has also been the MLK March Coordinator for the past 15 years. For those of you at home, you very likely know that today actually is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and then we will be celebrating as a community on MLK Day on Monday. And normally we would take a trip. We would take a bus down to the Capitol, over to Houston-Tillotson and back. And this year is going to be a little bit different. So we've invited our special guest, Joya Hayes, here today to tell us a little bit about herself, about the Austin Area Heritage Council, and what to expect when it's time to celebrate the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. this year. Joya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lonnie. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, thank you. You, I'm sure, are answering a lot of questions right now because, this is one of those events that while it's outside, there are just thousands and thousands and thousands of people who come out each year. And it seems like that's probably not the right way to go this time around. And so I know people have questions about how to celebrate, but before we get there, how did you wind up running the march here in the city? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got from where you started to here today.
Well, thanks for the question, Lonnie. I came to Austin in 1993 to attend college at Houston-Tillotson University. I am a second generation Houston-Tillotson graduate. And I am a fifth generation historically Black college and university graduate. And so HBCUs run in my blood, in my veins, in my blood. My grandfather was president of Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, which is a school from the Great Debate. So I've grown up with a sense of civil advocacy and working in civil rights area. As a student at Houston-Tillotson, I was a student body president for 2 years. And in that job, I just began to really connect my passion for civil rights, community, and equity. And what better way to do that than to represent, during the time of Hopwood versus the University of Texas, to be a president of a student body at a historically Black college. And so one of the things that we learn in these institutions is not only the things we all learn in college, but we learn to have an appreciation for Black history and our contributions to the future. And so in that role, I actually spoke at the rally that the former organization planned and hosted. And so I had several years of opportunity to be a speaker representing the university. And so in 1995, the Austin Area Heritage Council was formed. And I stayed very active in the work they were doing in the community. And one day along the way, they said, join us, be a part of the board. And here I sit 20 some years later, continuing to do this work, recognizing that we need young people to come help us, but continuing to do the work. And our board is literally here to make sure we find ways to honor and represent the goals and dreams of Martin Luther King, which we think are goals and dreams that all of us in the community can really share.
I think it's funny that you volunteered and then suddenly now you're in charge. It feels like that's a common way to do it. I think the way I've heard it is if you need something done, just ask the busiest person you know, and
Absolutely.
they'll do it.
Absolutely. It's a combination of not knowing how to say no in your entire life and just having a passion for service. And I think that blend, and I'll tell you, because it's just me here today, we have an extraordinary board full of people that are just like me, overachieving, community-driven people who are here to serve. We don't get paid for these jobs. We're all just here to make sure that we work together to not only maintain the integrity of the name of Martin Luther King, but to represent that every year, no matter what we're going through as a community.
Well, so can you talk a little bit about the Austin Area Heritage Council? You said it got formed and they do a lot of work. Could you give us a little bit of background on that group?
Sure. So there was a group prior to us that began the work of celebrating MLK. As a part of that, the University of Texas was one of the first groups to have a annual celebration on the holiday, and Houston Tillotson also hosted an event. So what we had tried to do as a board, as the Austin Area Heritage Council, is to create and sustain annual events that uplift the vision and goals of Martin Luther King, while trying to make sure in that we create the collaborative relationship of diversity and unity that has become something that we really reverence as it relates to Martin Luther King. And so we do this every year. We get great sponsors and we come together, great sponsors like Capital Metro, and we come together to have a great event that helps celebrate it. And I'll tell you, what we do has also a MLK oratory competition, which is an opportunity for 4 or 5 schools.
I've got a slide about this. I want to put this up on screen. If you can help me with that, Liliana. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the oratory competition, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So the oratory competition is an opportunity for our board under the leadership of Yvette Crawford and our team. And she reaches out to elementary schools, and the students begin their competition on the school level, talking about if Martin Luther King were here today, or other themes about Martin Luther King. And the kids create their own poems, their own speeches, and we allow them an opportunity for competition at the school level. And then they come together for a competition citywide, and we have a team of judges who judge them and select the oratory winner. And we've had kids that range from first grade all the way to 6th grade. And so it's just been wonderful to see the talent and the insight of our children. And we honor this student, and they will be presented at our program march on Monday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, actually, I know that for some folks who are out there, they're wondering how they can participate in some of those activities. I grabbed, this image that you've been circulating through social media, just pointing out that a lot of these activities are going to be streamed live, and that if you go to MLKcelebration.com, you can find out more information there, but certainly you can check out the MLK Celebration websites through Facebook and YouTube, where the live stream will be happening. And you can see on the crawl, we've got that the landing page for the website there. Now, I know with the oratory competition, there's usually the competition you can attend, and then you invite the winners to come and speak as well during the day's activities. Is there going to be an opportunity for the public to see the competition and also to find out more about the scholarship awards?
So as it relates to the oratory competition, it took place last night, and those students were live on Facebook as well. And so if you'll go to our Facebook page and the information you provided, you can see that competition and see our winner. And they will be a part of the program on Monday. The Youth Legacy Awards is this weekend. It's on Sunday, and that's usually an opportunity for the parents and family members of the students to see those students in that program. We're really excited to have Applied Materials and Coca-Cola represent that event. And they have an opportunity to then select scholarship winners. They submitted in multiple categories, and we give scholarships out to kids who are doing extraordinary things in all different fields. And we give out scholarship for kids that are simply beating the odds and doing great things despite the variables that would be distractions to other students. And while those students don't speak, we normally have those students just attend the march. Tomorrow, once we get the names of Sunday, once we get our Youth Scholarship Award winners, we will be announcing those winners on Sunday, because we are trying to keep everybody safe. And so our normal everybody around the stage, on the stage setup was not going to be possible. And so we will be acknowledging them by name.
Do you know how much in scholarship dollars have been distributed this year or will be?
I'm not sure of that. I can certainly try to figure that out and send that to you. I know we get at least about $40,000 a year in scholarships that we pass out in different types of ways. And so definitely don't know the exact amount, but we do a great job in working with our sponsors to make sure we're preparing students for the best as they leave high school and go into college.
It's exciting to know because I know that a lot of attention is paid to the march and the festival because that's the activity most people participate in. But knowing about these good projects and that the sponsors are helping students to really get a leg up moving forward, I think is one of the most important and yet unsung parts of what the Heritage Council has really been doing over the last couple decades now.
Oh, absolutely. And Lonnie, we have to have this conversation next year, right? When we're back out and we're doing it live and we have these things happening, because I think you're absolutely correct. There's so many things we're doing. And as a board, we really try to recognize and respect that full life cycle, right? Of elementary kids understanding Martin Luther King, of high school kids being honored for their achievements, and then just the community celebration. And so all of it works together. We're still trying to come up with what other great events can we have that brings our community together in the name of Martin Luther King.
Well, speaking of coming together for in the name of Martin Luther King, I want to share some pictures that we have from previous events. So, I know there are some of you who maybe have heard of the event, but you haven't braved the cold to go out to the event in person. This is probably your perfect year to watch it at home on your couch and stream. But you can see a little bit of what you're missing. Could you walk us through some of these photos, and let us know what we're seeing and how the activities normally would progress?
So what you see before you now is the beginning of our Monday morning march. We begin at the University of Texas in front, and if you can see in the back there, the MLK statue that's erected at the university. And so our event is always held there. We start at the University of Texas at 9 a.m. That is the beginning of the march. And on the stage, you can see many of our professors and administrators from the University of Texas. And it gives us the opportunity to not only hear from the university, but to hear from some of the students there about MLK and what that means on that campus. And so we start there, really recognizing it, and then we move to the Capitol. Look at you moving along with the photos. And so here we are at the Capitol. And let me tell you, Lonnie, the kids that you see in the front are our Youth Legacy Award winners. And so they carry, isn't that symbolic? They carry that. And we also have some students from our from our oratory competition who attend. So you got some little and some big ones, but they're all taking ownership together to hold that community banner.
And I know that the Capitol celebration is really where the crowd gets enormous.
It does.
And it's so exciting every year to be there and just feel the energy of it. And then to see like literally how large it's a show-stopping crowd going from the Capitol. So you got to think they start at UT and then it's marching to the Capitol, and you pick up even more friends on the way.
Yes.
And this is just a small snapshot of who comes out and what the crowd is like. And then they take us to Houston-Tillotson, and I have to say I've been participating in the celebration for several years. And I really appreciated when the celebration moved onto the campus rather than just the surface lot. It felt like a really special thing and so much more intimate that way. I'm not sure if you had anything to do with that, or if you had any thoughts about bringing it back to your alma mater.
Well, our president, and she's our president, whether you graduated or still there, Dr. Colette Pierce Burnett, really had that vision line. And she said, I want this to be more than just you coming to campus for MLK. I want it to have a family effect. And so that's a lot of work, a lot of cleanup, but she's so open to it because it creates that sense of family, right? To be there together. And so 15,000 is what we typically attract. Can I say that again, Lonnie? 15,000 people, right? We can't get 15 people to do things anytime sometimes, but 15,000 people come together, and we have over 30 or 40 vendors who set up at Houston-Tillotson so that they also have an opportunity. So there's a social economic impact. We're not only marching, we're not only celebrating, but we're also supporting both the university and the community. And of course, we used to have our festival with live music for 4 or 5 hours, children dancing, food, all the fried foods you need, everything from cholesterol to high blood pressure to healthy food. We've got you covered at the Austin Festival. So we're not going to do that part this year, but it's certainly part of the fabric of our event, and we hope to see you all come and participate in it next year.
Well, I see, I've got the information up for this year, and I'm hoping that the 15,000 people help break the internet on Monday. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing to pivot? Because again, 15,000 people, they want to celebrate. What are we doing, and how have you changed the celebration for this year?
Well, we want 15,000 plus people to live through this day in celebration. And so we are having an in-car rally. We're only going to be able to hold 50 to 70 cars on site, and they will have to register ahead of time. And we've got just a few slots left. And so people will be there representing organizations and churches and community groups. They're going to have to stay in their car, though, because we don't want any space. They're going to be 10 feet apart so that we can not only have 6 feet, but in case anybody wants to roll that window down and have a conversation, we've provided some additional support. So everyone will stay in our cars. We will have one person on stage at a time. Our band will be socially distanced. We've taken some measures of safety to ensure that all of our program participants will be in vehicles until it's time for them to come up to the mic. So it's like a limo world, right? It's like a walk down the red aisle, like you get out the car and you're on stage, and then you go back to your car. And so we've set those parameters. We'll be wearing masks. The program participants, we do have just slight security to ensure safety for everyone in this day and time. So we've done a lot. We are locking the church, so everybody will just stay in their vehicles. But again, we will be posting live on YouTube and on Facebook. So this time you can put on your comfy socks and put on your best robe, turn the Facebook on or YouTube, and remember Martin Luther King together.
Oh, I'm very excited about what's coming up for this year. In fact, I know that Camp Metro is going to have a wrapped vehicle in that parking lot. And, I'm sad that we're not going to be able to be with a larger group, but I'm really hoping that during the broadcast, we'll get to share, some of the vehicles. And so you can see the ways that people are celebrating, even if most of the people are at home. I know when we spoke, I think a lot of times people focus on the actual celebration day and what that's like, but not necessarily on the life and times of Martin Luther King Jr. And, I think this is a time to reflect on that. I know that for a lot of people out there, they may not know things like he was originally born as Michael Luther King Jr. And it wasn't until his father went to Germany and saw some of the growing anti-Semitism and hostility in the 1930s that he really became inspired by the work of Martin Luther and basically rechristened himself as Martin Luther. And then his son did the same later in his life. So by the time he was actually Michael until he was 28 years old. And so I like to bring this up because I think a lot of times people feel like their place in the world is fixed, that their destiny is preordained. But even this is an example where, 28, you think, well, he was an adult at that point, but he was essentially reborn at that point. And now we know him as that because of one inspiring trip, one small way to protest the situation that he saw in the world. I found that personally really inspirational.
That's beautiful the way you said it too, Lonnie. I think understanding that this is bigger than a dream and a day and a movement. It really is about recognizing the lessons we've learned in history and how we can collectively understand those lessons and move us forward.
Also, working for Camp Metro, I can't help but, of course, be aware of the bus boycott and, certainly what has come from that. I'm not sure if you had any thoughts at all about the bus boycott and his role in really reintegrating what I think of as an essential part of our public society?
I think not only would I look at the bus boycott, but I look at what he did for the trash operators during that period and the celebrations that were happening right as he died to go and to take up for the workers, the sanitation workers. I think Martin Luther King never forgot about not only creating a space to advocate for a community of color, not just for advocating for Christians in the movement, but he also took time to be a part of the movements that took regular everyday people into a place of power. And so from the bus boycott to all of the other movements that he had, I think all of us have a place. And, one person said, we sat down so that a generation sat down so that we could stand up. And I think all of those moments are connected to what he represents. And I have to be honest, Lonnie, and use this platform to say it's been a tough day right now, right? It's the last couple of weeks, there's been discouraging spaces and people don't know who people are anymore and what they represent and how much we can trust, our neighbors as we move forward in society. And so even in a time like this, we go back to Martin's movements and his support of everyday people to remember that it just doesn't take a powerful person to make positive moves. It takes everyday people caring about their community to move us and shift us to new and better days.
I think his legacy is really well reflected in the audience that participates each year. It's really just a slice from all different groups that come there because truly, if any one of our groups is discriminated against, it hurts us all. It's not just any one group. And I think he did a great job of explaining that. And I think that as time has gone by since the first celebrations in the 70s to after it officially was recognized in 86, you've just seen more and more and more people participate because they realize that what he was doing ostensibly for the Black community really was protecting all of us and all of our rights. And so I personally am moved in to participate. It's probably the first year in at least 15 years since I've been to the Capitol on that Monday. But before we go, because we're running a little low on time, we spoke a little bit earlier and I was talking about some of the quotes that you found inspirational. And I wanted to make sure that we can put those on screen just to share with other people who are looking for, light in the darkness. I think you mentioned that we're all living in a really strange time right now. And it's events like this that really can refocus our community and give us focus for the future.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to put some quotes up. If you want to mention something personal about the quotes, I would happily stop. But I just wanted to share several of them that you did because I find them inspiring.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for this opportunity. Again, I want to just remind you, I am a representative of a large group of members of a board who are just so committed and passionate about what Martin Luther King has done. And all of the quotes that you'll see right now is about taking the time and seizing the moment, about using your voice and recognizing that you have a part in the movement. It's about action today, love today, and understanding that as much as we have that is different, there's so many things that makes us a united group of people together in a country. And it's about movement right now and understanding that even when you don't feel like you should be a part of the movement, we are all forced to take a stand for what is right. And it's only when we all take that accountability do we move ourselves forward and move ourselves forward in beautiful little purple vans from Capital Metro that remind us that what we do for others, that matters. And so I think all of us are doing our part. We appreciate you. And all that you all do in terms of the transportation movement. We thank you for giving us a platform to bring this information, to bring this extraordinary man. Our theme this year is the other America, an America that people may forget exists, but it's America of respect, of unity, of collaboration, and of rights to all. And so we hope that you will join us virtually in your vehicles and just collectively come together to remind us we've been here before. And there is a platform and a method to move us forward. Thanks so much, Lonnie.
Oh, thank you, Joya, for the work you're doing to produce this event, for joining us today. Again, on screen, we're encouraging you to take a look at the live stream on Facebook and YouTube with the MLK Celebration. And in case it's not clear, Smart Trips Austin would regularly coordinate bike and scooter and train and bus trips. Last year, when people were at Houston-Tillotson, at the end of the day, they may have gone to the Capitol at the start of the day. They may have driven to UT and now they're at Houston-Tillotson. How were they supposed to get back? And we had created customized trip plans to help people use the 4 and the 2 and some of the other buses downtown, or to take the train to the event. And this year we can't do that. So we know that we're going to help you get there virtually. We encourage you to go onto those onto the Facebook or YouTube site for MLK Celebration and participate virtually. And I'm sure you saw one of these slides. We at Camp Metro, normally we would go a big walking group and we would all wear purple. We have our Camp Metro Cares brand, and we decided this year that if we couldn't be there in person, at least if our van is there, it should be the most purple thing you've ever seen.
You are successful.
So we wrap this vehicle, and I hope that hopefully we'll be able to keep the wrap on for a lot longer, so that way at least through Black History Month, you might be able to see this vehicle around town. But in the meantime, I hope to see you online, and I encourage you to take a look at MLKcelebration.com for more information. And I want to thank you, Joya, for all of the work that you do, and particularly in coordinating the march and celebration with the Austin Area Heritage Council. So thank you again for being our guest.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you Monday.
We'll see you next time on Smart Trips Live. I hope you have a great time, and I hope to see you out there.